Hey athletes, let's talk kettlebell cleans. Now in this video I'm just doing a single arm kettlebell clean. In other videos I will be doing a two-armed kettlebell clean, but let's see what a couple of them look like. See it from a side angle. Alright, let's talk cleans. So, what you can see in this first shot here, my pinky's out, right? I'm not drinking any tea, right? What I'm doing is I'm trying to remind myself to tell you guys, I always want to think pinky's out. Now, the video kind of cut off at my shins a little bit, so you're not going to necessarily see it. But I'm actually going to be putting my pinky forward. So if I fast forward this just a little bit, I'm reaching down with my pinky forward, right? You can see that here. My pinky's forward because that's how I want to set it up. I'm going to start very internally rotated. Now, by doing that, it sets me up so that as I'm picking the kettlebell up, I'm able to rotate externally, and it literally just rotates into position. So let's watch that. We'll go here. So as I come up, as soon as I start the external rotation of my hand, my elbow can go around, and it can come in, and it can come up, and my elbow presents itself. So let's see that again. So I come up, and I flip it. Now, here's where a lot of people get this wrong, is they do one of our faults, and fault, it's actually the first one you'll see, is they're going to try to flop it. They're not going to pull with their elbow, which you can see there. Right, so let's back this up a little bit. You can see that I pull with my elbow right there. My elbow bends, right? My arm is going to be following through. And at the same time, you can see that my hand is already starting to rotate. So I'm literally grabbing onto this handle here, and I'm going to be rotating it so that the kettlebell just goes around in a circle. Now, as I pull with my elbow, like you can see, I rotate my hand. Now my elbow doesn't move a whole lot, right? I'm not yanking my elbow up towards my eyeballs like a lot of people think. They're always trying to get their elbow so high in the air, and we just don't need to. Once my elbow is set, it stays basically on the same plane right here, right? It stays right about there, and I'll show you that right here. So again, my elbow stays about there, my elbow comes in, and it gets under the kettlebell. Now, I'm not doing anything too fancy with my hands because in reality, my arm, my wrist, my hand isn't very strong when you're talking about the whole arm, okay? My whole arm is turning this kettlebell over. My hand is just holding on to this object. And that's where a lot of people go wrong, is they try to use their hand too much, and then they're going to bend back their wrist or something bad is going to happen, and we just don't want that. So my elbow comes through. Now, right here, so let's see if I can find it. Right there. You can see my fingers are open. Again, I'm not really doing much with my hand. I'm not having a monkey death grip on this thing. Because if I have it too tight, if I'm grabbing it too tightly, my wrist is in danger. And I just don't want to break my wrist for something so stupid. So I let my hand go just a little bit, which will allow me to continue the rotation of my arm so that I can get it through. Okay, from here, I wouldn't have much of a problem if I wanted to put it over my head with a shoulder press or a push press or whatever the heck I'm doing. Okay, so again, I need to get my elbow through. It's all about rotation. So let's see. I come up, I rotate, my elbow comes in and under the weight. One more time. Up, around, and under. Okay, let's side so you can see it one more time, and I'll slow it down. So it comes up, I stand up, my elbow stays in the same plane, and it just comes sweeping forward, right? My elbow's here, I pull it, and it comes sweeping forward. And then my elbow comes through as if I were doing a front squat, if you know what that is. Now, that's what's going on in order to rack it up. But now, what am I doing with the rest of my body? So this isn't a whole total body exercise. Yes, my traps are getting involved, and yes, my arm is doing something, but what's really moving this weight? That's my legs. So when I set up for this movement, watch what happens. So I'm getting myself braced, and you'll see it from a better angle when I show you from the side again, but I'm getting into a somewhat squat, somewhat deadlift position. It's kind of more of a hybrid position because I'm not fully hinged over. But what I'm doing is, in order to start this weight, I'm driving my legs down. If you've seen the box jump video, which I hope you have seen, and if not, go check it out, I drive my legs into the ground. My power comes from the floor, okay? So I put as much energy into the ground as possible. What I'm not doing, and I see a lot of people do, is they'll start this motion with their arm. They'll try to, instead of using their legs, they'll yank up on it, and that's just not what we want either. Because again, our arm, compared to our legs and the rest of our body, our arm's pretty small and it's pretty weak. So we wouldn't want to use such a weak group of our body to move something so heavy, especially if we're talking an 80-pound clean or something even more. So I drive through my legs, and then once my legs are fully straightened, I can pull on this weight, right? My legs finish and I pull. The reason for that being, once my hips come all the way through and I've fully extended down, all of this energy, because I'm pushing down, what's actually happening is there's a ton of energy coming up. For as much energy as I put down, that much energy comes up. And that allows the weight to literally float a little bit so that I can do the rest of the motion, the pull, and I can rack it from there. So let's see that from the side angle. Zoom ahead a little. Alright, so again, from here you can see that hybrid position of my hips. So again, I'm not as hinged over as I possibly could be, nor am I in a full squat, right? If I were in a full squat, my shoulders would be back, I would be a little bit more vertical, but again, I'm somewhere in between. From here, I'm extending as hard down as I can, right? And right there you can see is when I finally start my pull. That way, as soon as my hips come through, my power is at the exact same level as this kettlebell, right? My power is in the same level, and that helps me transfer that energy straight up, okay? So yeah, my arms are a little short, I get it, and I have to break the rules a little bit myself in order to get the right pull on it, okay? Some of you with a little bit longer arms are going to be able to fully stand up before you have to pull with your arm. But again, a little short T-Rex arm, I have to pull a little early, I can drive my hips, and then I can finish the motion with my upper body. But watch everything but my arm. Watch my knee, I drive down, I go through my knee, my hips rise, and energy, once my legs come fully straight, energy just shoots up into my upper body. Okay, so let's see it in full motion and full speed so you can see this. So watch this energy. It just comes, boom! It just shoots up there. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying the more energy you put down, the more energy comes up. If you do it right, it just shoots that weight up. I believe this is a 50 or maybe a 60-pound kettlebell. But again, it literally just floats for me when you do it right. So one more time from the side, let's see it in full motion. It pops, I bring it through, simple. Time, pops, I bring it through. Now let's talk about faults. So, these things can be kind of dangerous, and a lot of people, while they're first learning, make a few mistakes. Let's talk about this. Now you can see the way I'm starting this first mistake is I'm starting it off the floor. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring it back a little bit in order to do more like a swing, and then you can see I'm just yanking it with my arm, jumping, and then it flops on me, right? Before, it came straight up. See if I make you dizzy first. Came straight up, it stayed really close to my body, and I could just get my elbow through. Where here, it's swinging out a little bit. See how far away from my body it is? That's no good. And then it comes back and just BAM! Bashes the back of my arm. Let's see that again. Just BAM! Okay? You can see that ugly face I'm making, that Joker face. Yeah, that doesn't feel good, okay? That's a bunch of weight dropping onto my arm and just bashing the back of my arm. So, if you feel like it's hitting you and smacking you, most likely you're letting it swing out too far. So let's look at this. Again, it comes way out and it slams on us. When before, I'm trying to keep it in real close. Oops. Trying to keep it in real close so that it just floats up into position. So again, if you have bruises from doing cleans, it's swinging out on you. And again, most people, they're going to go right to a dumbbell, and that's just not smart. You're obviously doing something wrong, right? You're letting it swing out and slam you. So, once again, with our kettlebell cleans, we want it to stay close. We want to drive our legs into the ground and keep our elbow in one spot so that we can just rotate it into position and receive it without it smacking our bodies. And that is a kettlebell clean.